fastest wrestling on the edge of the world!
Hello and welcome to SPW Bleeding Edge, the podcast about wrestling on the edge of the world. Happy New Year. I hope you're doing well. Tyler King joined by David Dunn. Happy New Year, David. I hope you've been well too.
I have been well, Tyler. It's been an exciting start to the new year. New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th and January 5th. We're very excited to see friend of the podcast, Bea Priestley, making her debut inside the Tokyo Dome, managing another name known to SPW fans, Will Ospreay, for his matchup with Okada.
Yeah, big night for SPW alumni, Toa Henare as well in the opening match of night one. So it was really cool to see. And like you say, Bea Priestley, our guest on the last episode, and she is coming down to the ring in the semi-main event on night one. So very, very cool to see.
Well, moving on to today's episode, we have got perhaps our biggest guest yet, Tyler. 2 titles, Tagataese, the SPW New Zealand champion. Jamie Tagataese is on the podcast.
Yeah, it feels like it's about time. We have the SPW champion on the Bleeding Edge. And like you say, he has 2 titles, Tagataese now, having recently won the IPW championship, the only man to ever hold both titles. A huge accomplishment. And so a very exciting time to chat to Jamie Tagataese. But that's not all we've got on today's episode. Make sure you stick around after the interview because we've got an exclusive announcement about Fight for Gold coming up. The Fight for Gold weekend, we will be revealing the main event for night one after the interview with Tagataese.
Shall we get into it then?
Absolutely. Let's welcome to the Bleeding Edge, the SPW champion, the big man, Jamie Tagataese.
Jamie Tagataese, Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much for being our first guest of 2021 on the SPW Bleeding Edge. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
We're good. We're excited to have you on here because it's been a massive end to 2020 for you. You begin 2021 as a double champion, 2 titles, Tagataese, the only man to ever hold both the SPW and the IPW championships simultaneously at the same time. How does that feel?
Honestly, it's truly a blessing. It's the only way I could describe it. It's like, yeah, it's an honor, and yeah, I'm just truly blessed to have achieved this history-making moment to be double champ of both SPW and IPW. So yeah, overwhelmed really.
Nice, man. And of course, you won the SPW title back in August, and you've only just regained the IPW championship, and that match was in a steel cage.
Yeah.
What was it like competing in a steel cage? You don't see a lot of that in New Zealand.
Yeah, actually, it's the second steel cage in IPW history. So yeah, that was a real honor as well. But man, it was probably one of the most brutal match I've ever been in. Like, oh, that steel cage is that's not soft. No soft at all. Yeah, you would think a big man like me could easily handle at least some of the damage, but man, that really does take a toll on you. Like the next day, I was just done, you know. But yeah, it was a real honor to be in. But man, so brutal. So, but yo, good fun.
You enjoying the Christmas and New Year break then?
Yeah. It's just the first 2 days after the cage match was a bit sore, but after that it was just smooth riding, you know. Good times with family, so it was just always good. Yeah, but yeah, other than that, it was all good.
Nice, just chilling with the family and your 2 title belts.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one.
Let's backtrack a bit, Jamie. Talk to us about the initial decision on your part to get involved in wrestling and some early influences on you.
Oh yeah. Well, I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler ever since I was a kid. But you know, growing up in New Zealand kind of makes you think like a dream that big isn't possible for a kid like me in little Avondale, you know. So yeah, ever since then, I've been just a fan. You know, I've always loved wrestling as a fan. I never tried to pursue it. Not until when I was 21, so that was about 4 years ago, when I literally had nothing else to do with my life. I was literally working a job that was from 9 to 5, and yeah, it was going nowhere. So I had to like really dig deep on what I was really good at, what I was really passionate about, and that's when my mind backtracked back to when I was a kid, and thinking of the only thing I wanted to be as ever since I was a kid, and that was being a pro wrestler. It was really crazy thinking about it, because I was like, man, am I really gonna do this? Like, but then and I was like, I was thinking, yeah, might as well, because you have nothing else to lose. And I was like, so yeah, that's when I had to look up pro wrestling in New Zealand, if it actually existed. And man, the result that came up was crazy. I didn't know a lot of wrestling actually existed in New Zealand, so that was really exciting for me. Yeah, and ever since then, I just had clicked on the first one, which was IPW, and it all went on from there. So yeah, it was good.
What expectations did you have, Jamie, when you officially sign up and you walk in the door for your first training session? What were you expecting going into that?
I expected hell, you know. I
Yeah.
expected the most hardest training I was ever gonna be put through, and that's what I had, because something about my mindset, whenever I'm preparing for something, I just think of the worst, you know. I'm always thinking of the worst case scenario, just in case, just in case it happens, you know. So that's how like my mind works. Like, yeah, when I was prepping for the IPW trial, I was like, man, I'm gonna hurt so bad, I'm gonna run so far, and cardio is like honestly my number one enemy. So I was honestly prepping for the worst, and that's what happened, man. I've never done over 30 squats in my life, and we did about 112 on that tryout day. So that was a
Wow.
killer. But yeah, it was good. It was good fun though. It was honestly real good to finally meet people that were into what I was into as well. You know, like at school, at church, at work, no one was into WWE. No one was into pro wrestling. So I had to keep that on the low for such a long, long time, for like years. Basically most of my life, actually. Yeah. But yeah, ever since that trial, it was real hard, but it was real good fun as well. So yeah.
So you eventually make your debut in IPW, known as Mr. T, and you're part of the Young Nats. How did it feel finally for you then to step out from the shadow of Sir Mr. Burns and the rest of the Young Nats, stand on your own, and to cast this group aside when you eventually did, and you turned your back on the Young Nats?
Yeah, at that point, I was very excited, but I was also nervous as well, because like it was really good working with Burns and the crew. Like it was really like sort of my training wheels diving into the industry of wrestling. So which was really good for me. I had a lot of help from Burns and the crew, and other trainers as well. But as soon as I had to break off from there and go solo, yeah, I was nervous, but it was really exciting to really show everyone what I can really do by myself, and the skill set I can come up with, and show the crowd to really entertain and deliver great matches and great shows. So yeah, it was pressuring, but it was exciting at the same time.
And when you got to the point where you were wrestling on quite a few events for IPW, um, what did your family think about you getting into wrestling?
Yeah, they thought I was nuts. Yeah. My parents especially my mom. She thought I was crazy to even think of becoming a pro wrestler, because it's just so uncommon for someone like me, I guess, to pursue pro wrestling, especially living here in New Zealand, because growing up, I don't know, 120 kgs at the time, Samoan, uh everyone expects, oh, hey mate, you play rugby. Oh, you play rugby. It's always rugby, like.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was never into rugby. I only played rugby on lunchtimes, just because everyone else played it. All my boys played it. I didn't want to just sit and watch them, so I played it. It was
Yeah.
good fun though. But yeah, I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I guess the first few months was pretty hard, because I've always gone these lectures from my mom. After training, I come home and she just lectures me saying this and that about like, do you really want to do this? But the more I kept training, the more, as soon as I made shows, they kind of realized, oh man, you're still going, all right then that's when they kind of realized, if I'm that committed, if I'm that driven to be a pro wrestler, then they're gonna have my back, and yeah, they've had my back ever since. So yeah, it's just been 100% support from them ever since, and it's really good to have that too. So I understand where they're coming from, because that's what I was thinking as well. But yeah, I guess the drive may change their mind, which is good on my part and their part too.
Have you had much of your family come and watch you wrestle?
Oh yeah, a lot of times actually. It's so funny because the one person that was really crazy about it, my mom, now she comes to every show. She literally comes to every show and is pretty much the loudest person in the crowd, and which is good but bad at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, quiet please. No, it's good. It's always good to have your family support. So yeah.
Definitely. You had a match against Ringo Ryan, and was it your cousin who came to see that one?
Oh, you're bringing that up. Yeah, that was my cousin. Oh, I think that was her first time, because yeah, she's her and my other cousin, they come straight from Samoa. They weren't born here, so they're back in Samoa. They're really interesting, which is good. And for them to come and watch their first live show, yeah, that was like a dream come true for them, and probably my worst nightmare as well. Yep. So yeah, she did. Are you gonna say it? Are you gonna say it, David?
I just remember at the time seeing this girl, and she just got up and then she just climbed over the barricade and she just
Yeah.
made her way all the way into the ring.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, it was me and Rango, both of us were down. I think the ref was down as well. And then Deal McCracken had to come in and interfere and do his old manager, kick me, stomp me while I was down, and then I guess that kind of pissed off my cousin, and she actually, yeah, went over the barricade, slid in the ring, and all I remember was just looking up and I see her in the ring, and I was like, nah, this can't be happening. Like, this is silly. This doesn't happen. And it was true. Like, she was literally standing in the ring, goes, come at me to Dion McCracken. And Dion McCracken was in shock. I looked at Dion's face. I was like, and then that's when I turned to her. I was like, go away, go away. I don't know. It was, yeah. As soon as that match was done, I went straight to the back and apologized to my trainers and everyone at the back. I was like, so sorry for that, guys. Everyone was like, nah, you know what? That was good. That was good stuff. That was good. They were like, that was authentic reaction. That's what we want, you know. And I was like, oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know about that kind of reaction. So, yeah. After that match, I went backstage. I apologized. I apologized to the crew and all my mates and that. And then I went straight home and I growled her off. I was like, "Don't you ever step in the ring again? You stay behind the barricades." Oh my gosh, they were just laughing, and I was like, "Oh, you think this is funny?" But yeah, good time.
And so you started racking up the wins in IPW, and before you know it, you have this undefeated streak.
Mm.
Could you feel the momentum building with each win? And did you think that it would go on for as long as it did?
I didn't even realize that I was winning every match. The first 4, 5, 6, 7 matches, I still didn't realize until someone mentioned to me that, hey, you got a streak going on and we might be going with it. And I was like, holy hecker, really? And I think back and I was like, oh, true. I really haven't lost yet. And that at that point, that's when it pressured me. That's when pressure started building even more. You know, it was pressuring enough to even like wrestle by myself, you know, especially by myself. And then to have them point out that I have an undefeated streak, put more pressure on it. And now every time I go through those curtains, I'm like, okay, gotta make this match better than the last one, and just to really build up the streak, the whole story of the streak in there. And it's always it's always frustrating, but I always try to look at it as a blessing at the same time. So
Sure. That's a good way to look at it, Jamie. Now, in October of 2019, you're already firmly established in IPW. You're undefeated. You're probably the biggest name in the company, but you get to make your SPW debut. So, coming down south to SPW, were you nervous at all to come down to a brand new audience and establish yourself all over again in front of these new fans?
I think I think that was the first time I was more excited than I was nervous. Because honestly,
Great.
like I've been keeping an eye on SPW ever since I found out about it. And like honestly, the shows that SPW have put on have been just so successful and so huge. And the massive crowds that I see, I'm like, man, I want to perform in front of that crowd. I want to perform for SPW, And as soon as I got the call up saying, hey, that they wanted me to perform a Halloween Haunting last year, I was like, oh, 2019. I was like, damn, let's go, I was like just super pumped. I was ready for a new audience, ready to perform at a new company, because I think at that time I was about a year, almost 2 years. I've been performing for IPW, and I think I was just I was definitely more excited than I was nervous. So that was really an exciting time for me.
And I think the SPW crowd were as excited to see you as well. How did it feel to be so accepted by the SPW crowd and to rise up the ranks so fast in Southland?
Yeah, I guess on being the nervous part was performing in front of a whole new crowd. But I guess what helped was just the exposure that I've been getting throughout New Zealand from my IPW performances which has the some of the crowd from Invercargill know me, so that helped, and but it was nothing like it when I went through those curtains and the whole crowd just cheered for me. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. Take that. I think that was the one thing I was worried about, was seeing if the crowd was gonna like me or not. Because if they didn't like me, then oh man, then I'm not doing my job properly. But yeah, they really welcomed me with open arms, which was really good. And Invercargill's always would definitely always be a great place to perform to and with. So yeah.
In addition to Invercargill, you've also wrestled in front of that very rowdy Queenstown crowd, where you made history as the first person to defend the IPW New Zealand Championship in SPW at Queenstown WrestleFest against the powerhouse T-Rex, and it was taped for TV. So did your friends and family get a chance to see you on TV defending the title? And how did it feel to be, wrestling in Queenstown on national television?
First of all, that Queenstown crowd, crazy. Like mental, actually. They're mental. Oh man, the stories that I've heard about that crowd, all true. They're crazy, man. They're honestly mental, man. It's just like you're even backstage and the matches before and after, you just hear the walls just like bloody rumbling all over the place and the ground shaking. It's crazy, man. But yeah, honestly, it was a real good time performing for them, and to even have that taped to be on national TV was real cool, but then also nerve-wracking as well. And my family did get to see it. They did get to see it on Duke, and I got a lot of messages as soon as it aired, from family and friends saying, "Hey, I saw you on Duke. I seen you on Duke. Can't believe you wrestled." Some people actually didn't know I wrestled until they saw me on Duke. So yeah, that was real good. Real great exposure for me, and not only for me but everyone else too in SPW as well. But yeah, it was a real honor and a pleasure to work for Queenstown, and honestly, I can't wait for the next one.
You ended up going undefeated for, was it over a year or 2 years, until it all came crashing down just before the Southern Rumble. You lost the IPW championship. How did it feel, first of all, that streak coming to an end and not having that aura anymore, but then to be able to bounce right back in SPW and become the SPW New Zealand champion over that Southern Rumble weekend?
Yeah, well, I was pretty bummed that the streak was broken and that I lost the title. But I guess at the same time that gave me momentum and the drive to really push my next show, which was supposedly the Southern Rumble. So I guess losing that really amped me up even more to win the Rumble and then also win the SPW title next weekend. So yeah, the bittersweet. Yeah, that's how I could describe it.
And you won the SPW New Zealand Championship in that match against the shooter Shane Sinclair.
Shane.
It was one of our most epic matches of the year. Who are some of the people you consider to be your toughest opponents?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh, it's a hard question. I really can't say. Yeah, I really can't say one, but Shane to start off, he was a real tough opponent. Actually, one of my favorite matches of the year as well. Ringo Ryan was a real tough one. Heaps of the vets too, like Charlie Roberts, Ruben DeJean, Kingy, Burns too. Yeah, a lot of people. I can't I can't really choose, eh? 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
a lot of talent in the New Zealand scene for sure.
yeah, a lot of talent too. So yeah, I can't really choose, but yeah, a lot of the vets were definitely one of my toughest. The last cage match with Jake Sheehan and Cam Kaiba, one of my toughest as well. So yeah, a lot of talented wrestlers in New Zealand.
And you've already defeated 3 of SPW's big time players, as we mentioned, Shane Sinclair, but also T-Rex and Marcus Cool. Is there anyone in SPW who you've got your eye on next?
Ooh, anyone in SPW? Ah, a lot of them, actually, all of them. But yeah, Marcus Cool. Yeah, he's one of the toughest guys. I forgot to mention him. But I guess I'm aiming for that breakout star of the year.
Oh,
Cool guy Sky. Yeah, I haven't really had a little toe to toe with that guy, but given that he's a breakout star of the year and kind of took my match of the year, yeah, I got my eyes set on that guy. It'll be real cool to. I don't mean pun unintended.
yeah.
It'll be real cool to get with Cool Guy Sky.
That is potentially a very interesting matchup. We've talked a bit about Jake Sheehan. Of course, you've wrestled him quite a bit in IPW, and he seems to be setting his sights on the SPW Championship as well. But there's also Rangi, who has been racking up the wins in SPW.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cool Guy Sky, an interesting choice. And then let's not forget the SPW Star of the Year for the Slammies, Will Power. Have you been in the ring with him before?
Oh no. Yes, willpowers are definitely one on the list to face against in SPW.
So as much as you've done already in SPW, there's a lot to look forward to
Yeah,
in 2021.
definitely a lot to look forward to, especially in SPW, because there's a lot of great talent in SPW that I really want to get in the ring with and share the ring with too.
As we head into 2021, Jamie, do you have any New Year's resolutions or any goals that you've set for yourself for this coming year?
Yeah, I have kind of set personal goals for myself for this year. I guess it's just trying to get my cardio up. Finally facing my number one enemy, you know. Yeah, no, honestly, just try to get fitter and better every day, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and try to be the best that I can be. Not only as a person but as a pro wrestler, and yeah, I guess striving to be the best that I can be, pretty much.
Is your number 2 enemy getting to your flights on time?
Tyler, buddy,
I'm sorry.
you did it. You did it, mate. Okay. All right. I've missed 2 flights to Chicago. Okay. I get it. Oh, man. And you're so funny about that. I think um the last one I missed, I was literally at the airport just sitting in the car with my friend and we are just talking. And then we're just talking on the drop-off zone. Yeah, the car was parked on the drop-off zone, and then not we're just talking not until I heard here on the speakers saying last call for da 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 da, and Jamie said I was like, holy crap. I looked at the time, I was like, damn. Man, I had to rush through security and all of that. One guy had to stop me because I had scissors in my bag, and I was like, oh, you know what, keep the scissors. And I ran and I went to the gate and it was just closed. I was like, damn. Yeah, man, honestly, I was dropped there scared, man. I was like, come on. Like, luckily there was another fight in about an hour. So, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Tyler. I'll remember that. Yeah, thank you, man.
Not a problem.
Jeez.
We love you, Jamie, and we are so thankful that you did end up getting on another flight.
Yeah, me too.
On that note, so where can people follow you on social media if they do want to follow your journeys throughout 2021?
All right, so they can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Jamie Tagataese. I think Facebook is at Jamie Tagataese 14 and Instagram just at Jamie Tagataese. So yeah, please follow.
Well, Jamie, we cannot wait to see you back in an SPW ring, provided, of course, you make it to your flight on time. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and join us on the podcast, and we look forward to seeing you later on this year, SPW Fight for Gold weekend.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me, guys. And it's real blessing to be here, and yeah, I'm really looking forward for 2021. I just hope that everyone is safe and having a great holiday so far, and yeah, excited for 2021. And yes, that is my number 2 New Year's resolution. That will be making my flights on time.
There he is, the big man, the SPW New Zealand champion, the IPW New Zealand champion, Jamie Tagataese on the bleeding edge. I hope his flights are booked, and I hope he gets his flight in time for Fight for Gold Night 1, because he is going to be defending that championship. David, are you ready to hear who Tagataese will be defending the gold against?
I've been holding out for this all episode. Lay it on us.
Fight for Gold weekend, Night 1, February 5th. Jamie Tagataese will defend the SPW New Zealand Championship against Jake Sheehan and Rangi in a triple threat match. Albino Rhino called it on the podcast a couple of weeks back.
He absolutely did. Just goes to show you got to pay attention to what's happening on SPW Bleeding Edge. A massive triple threat matchup for the SPW New Zealand Championship. That's huge, Tyler.
Massive. I don't know if the general manager will admit that he heard Albino Rhino suggest that. I'm sure he'll claim he came up with it all on his own, but nonetheless, a huge match. I'm very excited to see Rangi in the title picture. I think it's very well deserved. I don't think Sheehan will be very happy about it. I'm sure that Tagataese will be keen to take on all comers and prove once again why he is the big man and the big champ of SPW.
And whoever makes it out of Night 1 with the SPW New Zealand Championship will have to be keeping a close eye on the other matches going down that night, because we will have a series of qualifying matches on Night 1 with the winners advancing to a ladder match on Night 2 for that Fight for Gold briefcase that entitles its holder to an SPW Championship match anytime and any place of their choosing.
And I've got one more tease for you just before we go. I have been told that we will have a star returning to SPW, someone that has not competed in an SPW ring since 2018. Will be returning at Fight for Gold. That's all I will say for now. But yeah, lots to look forward to. Still a couple of weeks away though, so yeah, lots of announcements still to happen. Can't wait.
That is all from us this week. Stay tuned to our social media at SP Wrestling NZ on Twitter, on Instagram for all the announcements coming up for Fight for Gold. And we'll catch you again in 2 weeks' time for another episode of SPW Bleeding Edge.